Hey, what's up, gang? This is episode number 51, Free Real Estate Advice Fridays. I just noticed I put in the title episode 50, but it is in fact 51. And yeah, just want to do kind of a quick one today. It's just kind of a 2022 wrap up here, kind of winding down in terms of, real estate's not usually super busy this time of year, although I feel very fortunate to have a few pending transactions going on right now. And we're already, if you're in this line of work, you're already kind of planning for your 2023. um, I'm always kind of glancing up at my big board here when I do these broadcasts, and I can tell you that in terms of like pending clients, I have more than I've ever had in my career. But things are just generally taking longer. Inventory is still dreadful, but we should definitely see something happening in the spring as far as additional inventory. So, just wanted to talk about a few things that I'm hearing about recently, what the market looks like right now, what we can expect from rates. Generally speaking, when I'm calling people and seeing like what they're thinking about doing this time of year, we get a lot of seasonal holds. Obviously, people don't look to get involved in a real estate transaction around the holiday season. That makes total sense. Although, if you were to do something now, you're not going to be closing till probably at this point, most likely February. So it's if you see something you like this time of year, I definitely jump on it because you'll probably have less competition. And the one I have pending now, I think that was very much the case. Beautiful house. I think a house that normally would have tons of offers, but it is kind of a slow time of year, so we were able to get in there with a decent offer, but nothing crazy. And there were only three total offers, so that's kind of the win you get when you choose to do something in a slow time. So that definitely still applies to probably the next month or two before the spring market. People that say they're going to wait till the spring, I always remind them, well, that's when everyone's waiting. So, when we get back out there in the spring, first of all, we expect rates to be lower. Second of all, you're going to have more competition. So if you are, thinking about doing something, it is definitely a good time to do it. If you check out most, real estate pundits and analysis and everything else, that most of them will tell you like right now is the best time to buy we've had in years. And I think we're seeing that for the most part. So first thing I want to talk about is the rates. Rates obviously are high, comparing it to previous few years. But if you're one of those people that has in the back of your head, well, rates were 2.5, 3% as of a year ago, if that. That's true. I think that most lenders are going to tell you we'll probably never see that again. That was definitely a circumstance there, a time and place where that came to be. But I don't think that's something that most lenders are expecting to ever see again. So I would caution you, if that's something that's in your head, there's a good chance that it's going to hold you up more than anything. Because if you're waiting for 2.5 or 3% rates, it's probably never going to happen again. If it does happen, it's going to be a very long time. Rates, as of this week, were in the mid sixes. That is lower than it's been in prior months. We got as high as 8% there for a little while, as recently as September, and they are back down to about 6.5. We are expecting them to go a little bit lower in the springtime, and then by summer, they're expected to be around 4.5. Now, when I say expected, I'm just listening to people that are experts in this area. That is definitely not me. I just have people that I listen to. You can go on social media and YouTube or whatever and find people that predict these sorts of things and have a track record of being successful with it. And I think you should expect to see 4.5% coming in spring and summertime. Now, I will tell you about a really interesting program that has come out, and that is Movement Mortgage. One of my primary lenders, particularly Todd Mershon, is the originator that I work with primarily. He's with Movement Mortgage, but any Movement Mortgage rep could help you with this. If you need contact from anyone in that realm, just give me a call and I'll hook you up with my best people. But they have an interesting program where you can do a refinance up to, I think it's up to 2 years. I don't have all the particulars. If you want the particulars, then I can definitely give you the contact information to take this program. So this is the program. I happen to have the flyer sitting on my desk. Don't let rates keep you from buying a home at a very high level, I will tell you. Buy now and refinance with no lender fees if rates drop with the Movement Mortgage Purchase Advantage. Basically, the way it works is that if you buy a home now and you pay, let's say you're paying 6%, and 1 year from now the rates are sitting at 4%, they will not charge you any lender's fees to do a refinance. I want to make very clear here that this does not mean it's a free refinance. You do still have to pay for some closing costs and some title costs and stuff like that, but it'll be definitely a reduced fee. It's a really smart program because there are a lot of people just kind of sitting on the fence. And if you have the opportunity, you find the house you want, everything's perfect except for the rate. That is definitely something that we caution people on, is don't worry so much about the perfect storm of you have the rates you want and you also have the house you want. Find the house and you can always refinance. I think that most people with 30-year mortgages will tell you they refinance multiple times. And I often just give my own experience. We've been in our house for a little over 7 years. We have already refinanced twice because, if we see the opportunity and it makes sense, then we go ahead and do it. And then anytime you refinance, there's other opportunities available to you. You can take money out of the equity of the house. You can do all sorts of things. So it's a good time to do that. But this program's really smart because it kind of alleviates that one concern. And again, if you have questions about this program, I will not direct you to me. I will direct you to someone from Movement Mortgage. So high level outline of the program: purchase your home before March 31st, 2023. You can refinance with Movement Mortgage before 12/31/24. So that's over 2 years from now. Must be a conventional government-backed loan, which is an FHA, VA, or USDA. Eligible to refinance after 6 full monthly payments. So you do need to make 6 payments first before you're eligible for the refinance. So 6 months after your first payment, you can entertain this, and you get to buy the house that you want. And you get to choose the right time to refinance for you if rates start to drop, as long as you refinance before the end of 2024. So a good loan officer will help you with this so that you're not kind of speculating. I always tell people, if you are in this realm of like, this sounds like an interesting idea, you'd like to consider it, get with a lender who you have a prolonged relationship with that could advise you on this. And, tell you when is the right time, or should you hold out, or should you do it now, or whatever you want to do. Definitely lean on your professionals. I get so many people, even that are actively engaged in the buying process, that don't engage the professionals enough. They have a lot of internal conversations within the household about what they think they should do or something. It almost becomes an issue where they can sometimes treat the professionals that are working for them, which would be your lender, your realtor, and your attorney, as like a team, and then they're a team. But it should all be one team of, if it's a married couple, it should be 5 people: the married couple and those 3 professionals I just named, working together in concert, because we literally are working for you. So lean on us, ask us questions, and ask us what we think about writing offers, and when's a good time to buy, and strategy for your offers, and down payments. And particularly with lenders, there's so many different strategies, and every person has a unique financial situation. There are many different ways to go about it and pay down debt before you put the mortgage in place, and all sorts of strategic things that are definitely helpful. I mean, if you want to get that conversation started a year before you're buying, I think it's a good idea to have that person come along with you for the whole ramp up to actually buying a house. I get so many clients, particularly because I advertise online, that really wait to the last minute. They're like, all right, Craig, we're ready to buy now. And then it's like, well, did you get your pre-approval? No, we haven't done that yet. We're going to try and find a house first and then get a pre-approval. And I always say, well, that's going to be tough, because if you like that house, you probably are not prepared to buy it. And there's probably going to be other offers, and you won't have time to get that all done. So you want to definitely get that done ahead of time. And there's really no risk there to get it done ahead of time. So we are always just kind of pushing people to, just have all of your cards on the table for you, so that you know exactly what you want to do. But this is a really good program. This is really smart. I haven't seen too much like this in the past, but Movement Mortgage is really good at coming up with these programs that are really helpful to buyers and give you a lot of options. So I highly recommend that. In terms of the market itself, I mean, the biggest prevailing issue is definitely inventory. If you're a seller right now, you will definitely benefit from this market. I don't see that changing anytime soon. It really hasn't changed in the past, I'd say. I mean, I'd almost say as long as I've been in real estate, which is coming up on 4 years. Probably the first year of my career, it was decently balanced. I would say nowadays it's dreadfully, historically low inventory. And I don't see that going away anytime soon because people aren't going to suddenly, there's not going to suddenly be less desire for housing. I think if you read up on anything, there is definitely a nationwide shortage of homes. I think more locally here in Hunterdon County, we have definitely seen over the past 2 years, there's definitely a pilgrimage moving in this direction. People from either Eastern New York or I'm sorry, Eastern New Jersey or New York, in particular. Good people. It's good to get fresh money in here and new taxpayers and new ideas within reason and embracing the Hunterdon County way of life. And I think that most first or second generation Hunterdon County people like myself know that that's exactly where my parents came from. My parents came from Brooklyn and Scotch Plains, respectively, and moved here in 1970, and they were the new people in town, and they've been here ever since. They still live in the exact same house. They've been here for 50 something years. So that's great, but it does kind of hurt availability of homes. We really haven't seen much of that slowing down. The interesting thing is over the past, particularly over the last like 6 months, we're getting a lot more retirees moving to this area. So again, people that spent their whole life in Somerset, Middlesex, Union County, Morris County, stuff like that, are coming out to Hunterdon because like, well, I don't need to commute anymore. Taxes are definitely lower out there, and it's beautiful and it's quiet and there's less people, so I'm going to move out there. So we are definitely seeing a lot of that. We are actually starting to see some people moving from Pennsylvania to New Jersey because if you are in proximity to the river on the Pennsylvania side, the taxes are not hugely different. If you go a little deeper into PA, that's a very different story. But if you're, in those river towns and not far off of that, the taxes are very similar, and they're just starting to, because of the lack of availability, they're definitely looking over the river to see if there's any other things available. So, I don't think that's going away anytime soon. It's a good thing for Hunterdon. It's going to keep home values up. But it does make it challenging for buyers. That being said, me in particular, I do have a very distinct way that I submit my offers. I do try to get people to the top of the stack. It's not all about price. A lot of times it is about the way that the offer is presented and the due diligence we go to make sure that our sellers are confident in our offers. That is paramount. Price is almost secondary to that. So, if you can get in the ballpark price wise, but they are very confident in all of the other factors, for example, using a trusted lender that I've closed a lot of deals with, having good timelines, having good communication, laying everything out, those all factor into getting offers accepted. And I would say over the past, several years, I've done very well in getting a good percentage of my offers accepted. So, people really get spooked by the multi-offer situations. It is nothing like it used to be. Like I said, it's generally single digits these days in Hunterdon, whereas, for the past few years, it's been double digits on everything. And so that is definitely improving. We are all ready for that. It's not, no one is preferring the multi-offer situation. It can even, believe it or not, be stressful for sellers to take on 24 offers and have to pick one winner when every single one of those offers wants that house more than anything. It is definitely stressful. So clean decisions, a balanced market would be very welcome. With the inventory situation being what it is and rates being what they are, I don't see a whole lot of change coming anytime soon. But the market is still doing fairly well. Like I said, my board of active clients is as big as it's ever been. There are people thinking about doing things. It's just taking longer because it takes longer to find a house and get an offer accepted. So market's pretty healthy. I think it's healthier than it's been in the past 6 months. When the rates shot up immediately, everything kind of slowed down right away. And that lasted for a few months. And now I think people are starting to kind of normalize the current rates and get used to the fact that this is what it is. But again, you're marrying the house, the rate you are going to break up with at some point and refinance or you know, I think, like me personally, one of my goals is to switch from a 30-year mortgage to a 15-year mortgage at some point when it makes sense financially. Obviously, that will help your rate as well. So there's always, strategic decisions in terms of holding a mortgage. So I wouldn't worry about what that rate is today. That's me personally. That is not financial advice of any sort. I am not a financial professional, but just as a homeowner and a realtor, I'm just saying that, you gotta, to me, the house is paramount. The location, the nuts and bolts of the house itself are what you should really be thinking about. So, um, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I do see a few people on here. If you have any questions, please go ahead and post them in the comments, and I will get a notification that you've asked something. I cannot see who is viewing. I can just see that there are quite a few of you. But if you have any real estate questions before I close things out, I will be happy to answer your questions. 2022 is a wrap. It's been a pretty interesting year. I think, most agents would tell you that we're all down in production from the previous years, but I mean, that was bound to happen. The past couple of years have been absolutely insane. And then we had this crazy increase in rates that happened relatively suddenly that put a pause on everything. And we're all coming out of that now, but that did definitely affect production. I mean, this is the lowest year of production in my career. I think, speaking in terms of my office, which has 160 agents, I think most of us are down. There are obviously a few exceptions to that, but most of us are down in production. So it's the past few years has obviously been an unsustainable market. We were not expecting that to last, but the drop off was pretty intense. And I think that most of us would tell you that we're optimistic about 2023 being a pretty good year. And maybe even, moving towards a balanced market, which would be, everyone wins in a balanced market. Sellers, buyers, everyone. It's balanced. That is generally not something that stays for a while. Markets are generally moving between slightly advantageous towards the seller or slightly advantageous towards the buyer. We've been in a seller's market for 3 years. I think we will continue to be. So, I have clients right now. They just got a offer accepted on a beautiful home here in Hunterdon County. And I said to them today, I'm like, well, you got the hard part done. You got the house. Now they have to sell their house. And that, in my opinion, is the easy part. So, if you are home sale contingent and you are waiting for the spring market, I would definitely engage some professionals at this point, because you have to be very strategic about that. You don't want to get into a multiple offer situation where there are 5 offers and you are the only one with a home sale contingency. You will almost definitely automatically be placed to the bottom of the pile. But there are definitely ways around that. I know that Movement Mortgage has a specific program for that particular scenario. Will you pay fees? Yes. Will you be able to get done what you need to get done? Most definitely. So I definitely would be happy to pass along information on that. That is called the Power Purchase Program. And there are other ways to go about it, but generally what I'm doing is people call me up and they say, hey, I have a pre-approval. We will need to sell our house eventually, but I do have a pre-approval in place. Number one question is, where is that pre-approval from? Just so I have an idea of the quality of the pre-approval. I tend to know most of the big banks. I have an idea of how they do their pre-approvals. I always use the example of, you can go on like better.com right now, get yourself a pre-approval in about 10 minutes. It can say whatever you want. You can literally type in whatever you want and they will print out a pre-approval and you will be ready to shop for millions of dollars. Obviously, any realtor receiving that pre-approval on an offer on a listing they have is going to say this pre-approval is no good, because it isn't. It's not worth anything. Nothing's been verified. You can type in there whatever you want and print out a pre-approval. That's obviously not how we prefer to do it. Whereas if you go to someone like Movement Mortgage, everything's going to be validated, verified, and that's actually in your pre-approval that we have verified. We've collected information on assets. We have verified income. You can even get a fully pre-underwritten approval, which is like the gold standard, which means that the package has already been presented to the underwriting team. They have looked everything over and they have approved it, meaning that there are no concerns. And that is a very powerful pre-approval. That is that gives sellers a very high level of confidence that you will be able to close. To give you an opposite side of the spectrum of something like Movement Mortgage, or I mentioned better.com, there are smaller lenders, I mean, literally lenders operating out of garages and strip malls that say they give pre-approvals to their clients. The clients find a house, they go through the whole process, and then we find out that they never qualified any of their assets or income. And when it's way too late, way far in the process, they do it then, and they realize that they were never qualified to buy a house. That is a nightmare scenario for a seller, especially if you are doing it on a home sale contingency. If you need to sell that house because you're buying something and then you find out the buyers of your house are completely unqualified, that is definitely a disaster in real estate. So you want to definitely try to avoid those scenarios. So working with someone like Movement Mortgage and at least getting a pre-approval. But if you have time, and again, if you have time, this is why you engage your lenders early. If you have time, get one of those underwritten pre-approvals, because that means that pre-approval is worth its weight in gold. So not enough people take advantage of that. It is definitely a leg up in a very competitive market. So I would highly, highly recommend that. But you need to give yourself time, because that is a process. And I think it generally takes about a week, can take a little bit longer depending on how quick you are in getting documents over to them. But you can't find the house first and say, all right, great, we're going to put an offer in this. And I say, hey, well, it'd be great if you had one of those, pre-underwritten pre-approvals, but we don't have time. That's going to take a week, and we don't have a week. So, again, just a friendly reminder. But yeah, I think generally speaking anecdotally now, I think I am very optimistic about this upcoming year. I think that I will be able to get more people what they want, both on the buying and selling side. And, a few less multi-offer situations would be very welcome for me. It's very stressful, not just for my clients. It's obviously also, my income depends on that, and that can be very challenging for the family. So, yeah, I'm pretty optimistic that this next market will be a good one with the rates coming back down. So, I mean, as far as the inventory, it's hard to figure out a scenario that we would suddenly just have more inventory. I think if we see an increase in buyer confidence, meaning that the rates have come down a little bit, the market gets active a little again, I think we can convince more people. I shouldn't say we're going to convince. I think more people will be convinced on their own that it's a good time to sell, because they're seeing a good active market. So I think really in the short term, that's probably our only hope for additional inventory. But I guess remains to be seen. If I could predict the real estate market, I wouldn't have to sell houses anymore. But that would be my guess based on my experience. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it for today. I don't see any questions. I do still see some people watching. And if you have any questions heading into the new year and you want to just discuss real estate, discuss the market, discuss investors, investments, and discuss primary residence, vacation homes, anything I can help you with, and I can help you with any of those things. As a general reminder, I service everywhere from Lake Hopatcong to the Jersey Shore. Obviously, my primary business is in Hunterdon County, but I do business outside of Hunterdon County constantly. Again, just another day in the life of being a full-time real estate agent is Hunterdon County will definitely not be enough to feed the family. So I have a very wide area, and I'm happy to help you in any of those areas. There are situations where I don't do a lot of rentals. I'm obviously not going to do a rental in Lake Hopatcong. That doesn't make sense for anyone, including the client. We want them to be able to easily look at rentals. You're going to look at a lot of rentals, and I can't be driving to Lake Hopatcong, 6, 7, 8, 9 times to help with that. But, we have people all over the state, so I can easily refer you to someone. If you're looking at something outside of the area, let me know. I can put you with a realtor in many different areas. All over the country. If you need someone in South Carolina or Florida or Texas, just give me a call. We have people down there. I know people down there, but if I don't know someone, I will find someone for you. I will personally interview them, make sure you're with someone good. Very common in our industry. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, if you need help in 2023, please give me a call and I will be happy to help. If I can't help, I will let you know, and we'll get you with someone that can help. But looking forward to a successful 2023. And yeah, I hope everyone stays healthy. I know there's a lot of illness going around. I hope you all stay healthy over this holiday season. Stay warm. And if there's anything I can ever do for you, please give me a call. And my number is below, and obviously all my socials. And you can comment, you can email, text, whatever it is, and I will get back to you. All right. So everyone, please be well. Have a great holiday season, and I will see you all in 2023. Thanks so much. Have a great Friday.